Hello fashion bosses, welcome to today's tutorial. My name is Faith Abraham, Creative Director of Fashion Boss Innovations Academy. Here on this channel we upload sewing tutorials and headwear tutorials. In today's tutorial I'm going to be showing us how to draft a pencil skirt with hip and butt allocation. Alright, so before we get started, I'd like to welcome you. If this is your first time on this channel, I want to say a very big thank you. Thanks for stopping by. You are not here by mistake. Please kindly consider subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, I want to say a very big thank you to you. Thanks for always stopping by our channel. Like this channel, share it, give us a thumbs up, and don't stop watching. All right. So right now, I already have my pattern folded out. I already have my started line marked out on the top of the fabric like you can see. So I'm going ahead right now to mark out my hip line. Okay, I just mark out my hip line. Also knowing that the hip line is usually between 7, 8, and 9 inches. I'm marking my hem line. That is the length of the skirts. Okay, like you can see me doing right now. I'm marking all of this out. My starting line on top of the fabric, my hip line, and then the hem of the skirt. And then I'm just going to square them up out. All right. I come to the hip line as well, and then I square it out. So the hip measurement, we're going to input our hip measurement. The hip measurement is 37. The hip measurement is 37. We're going to divide our hip measurement by 4, and that will give us 9.25. So this 9.25, we want to introduce our hip allocation at this point. This 9.25, which is the 1/4 of the hip, we are not going to use the exact 9.25. We are going to reduce it by 1 inch. So we are going to be using 8.25. Okay, and then we'll go ahead to add our 2 inches seam allowance to it. The waist measurement is 28 inches, and then we are dividing it by 4. That will give us dividing it by 4, that will give us 7 inches. But before we do that, we are going to bring whatsoever we have on the hip line to the waistline. Whatever we have on the hip line, we are going to bring it to the waistline. And to the hem, we have we'll bring the same to the hem. And then we draw a straight line. This is to enable us get a proper hip allocation. So if you have watched this video up to this point and you've not subscribed, I want to encourage you to please kindly consider subscribing. Do well to subscribe. Tap on the subscription button and tap on the bell. The bell enables you to get notification each time we drop new video on this channel. So after imputing this line is the hip line. So we have to take it all the way from the waist area down to the hem. So we have to come to the waist area now to impute our waist measurement, which is 1/4 of our waist, 7 inches. Okay, add 2 inches seam allowance, but let's do our darts first. Our dart is 3.5 inches, 7 inch the bust span is 7 divided by 2, that's 3.5, plus half inch 4. Okay, so this is our dart line and this is our waistline. So plus 2 inches or 3 inches, because after we take our darts, let's add 2.5 inches to the dart line, to the waistline. 2.5 inches allowance. Okay, let's connect our darts. We are taking our darts by 5.5 inches. Okay, we're making our darts, the length of our dart to be 5.5 inches. Hope you're understanding what I'm doing. Okay, and then half inch from both sides. Okay, and then we connect it to this line. If you have any confusion, any question, please kindly drop the question for me on the comments below. I'm going to attend to it. So this is our dart. Okay, so at this point we are going to come to our hip line and do this. We are going to measure 1 inch upward. Okay, and then 2 inch downward. Okay, all of this we are doing here is for the hip allocation. So I came to the hip line and then I came up by 1 inch. At the same hip line I came down by 2 inches, and then I'm going to connect from my waistline. Okay, my waistline from this point to the 1 inch. This way. Okay, and then from the 2 inch I'll come down to the hem of my skirt. I'm going to whatever we have here, which is the line, whatever we have at the hip area is the same line we've extended to this hem line. So I'm going to deduct 1.5 inches or 2 inches from whatsoever we are having here. You can either do 1.5 or 2 inches. It depends on how fitted you want it to be. Okay, how fitted or how penciled you want it to be. Hope you understand. So I'm going to connect from these 2 inches down to my hem. This way. Okay, and then I bring it down. So this is how to get your hip allocation. Okay, so if there is a place you do not understand in this video, kindly backward it, watch it over and over again, you will understand it. Okay, so basically our front panel for our skirt is ready. So we are going to cut this off now and then use it to get our back panel. We are going to use this now to get a back panel. So we are going to be cutting a back panel now. On this part of the fabric, the folded part, I'm going to be measuring out 3.5 inches. You can follow us on our Instagram handle at Fashion Boss Innovations. On Facebook, like our Facebook page at Fashion Boss Innovation. Follow us on TikTok. We even have a Facebook group, Fashion Boss Innovations, where we share ideas and all of those. Please kindly note that on this channel we upload sewing tutorials and tutorials on headwear such as autogele, turban, fascinators, hat making, and anything that is being used to adorn the hair. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly do. We encourage you to do, because it's actually a place to be. You have a lot to benefit from this channel. Kindly subscribe, and if you are a returning subscriber, we appreciate you. Like I always say, without you there is no fashion boss. So please just get that straight. You guys are fashion bosses, okay? You guys keep us going. So I've measured out 3.5 inches this way, and then I've ruled it down. So I'm going to bring my front panel and place this way. Okay, I'm placing it on the 3.5 inches line. Hope you can see properly. I'm placing it on this 3.5 inches line. Okay, and then we are going to extend our hip line into the 3.5 inches space we left that way. All right, so on a hip line, I'm going to measure out 1 inch this way. I'm measuring out 1 inch. What we're trying to do right now is creating allowance for our butt allocation. We're trying to get the butt allocation. Don't forget, we've already gotten the hip allocation. Right now is the butt allocation. This is how to make trendy wears right now. That's why you can see people who knows how to use this pattern. When they make their outfit, you can see the butt area is properly accentuated, well seated, you know, and all of that. Okay, so I'm going to measure out. I've measured out my 1 inch. So I'm going to connect it into this line on the waistline. I'm connecting it to the waistline this way. I just connect it straight into the waistline. Okay, connect it straight into the waistline that way. Then I'll come down here. From this hip line again, I'm going to measure downward 8 inches. From the hip line again, I'm going to measure downward 8 inches. 8 inches, okay? Like this. I'm measuring out 8 inches. And then I'll pick up my ruler. From the same hip line, I'm going to connect it into the 3.5 inches line we roll out initially. This way, I'm going to connect it, slant it into where we have the 8 inches mark and into the 3.5 inches line. Hope you are understanding what I'm trying to do. If you do not, please kindly drop your question on the comment section. Okay, I'm going to attend to you ASAP. Connect it like this. We are trying to create room for our butts to sit on properly, well accentuated. So I've connected. You can see what you have there. So I'll just get my armhole curve and make this place very realistic. I don't want any pointiness around here. You get? Basically, we are done. So what is left for us to do right now is to add our zippers allowance. Okay, I usually use 2 inches for my zippers allowance. By the time I turn, I'll be left with 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to chalk out from this line right now. Okay, I'm going to chalk out my 1.5 inch, sorry, my 2 inches for my zipper allowance. That way I'm going to follow this line and mark out my 2.5, my 2 inches, pardon me, for my zipper allowance. I'm going to follow the curve. I'll keep marking out 2 inches till I get to the hem of my skirts. And that is it basically. Okay, so I'm going to flesh it out using my ruler. So this is what we have, and then we are going to cut out. Basically, this is how to draft your skirts using the hip and butt method, the hip and butt allocation method. Okay, there may be other ways, but this really works out well for me. That is why I thought I should share with you guys out there. All right, so after cutting out, you just go ahead and sew it like you sew every other skirt. Cut out your band and attach. So I didn't see a needle. I thought there is no need, showing the band part and all of those, because making of skirts is nothing new. The emphasis for this class is the hip and butt allocation. Okay. All right, so please kindly like, subscribe, and give a thumbs up.